Hello, your channel Eugene Light Novels greets you. I hope you are enjoying these beautiful novels. Now, let's continue with the novel, Sign in Everything from XUE. First part. Chapter 1: The Boring Daily Life of a Top Student, the Genius Boy in Titan Elementary School. In the island country of Tokyo, in Baikacho. In the first grade class B of Titan Elementary School. The sun is shining outside the window, and the breeze gently sways the branches, full of vitality. A little boy wearing a blue short-sleeved shirt and short black hair, holding his chin with his hand, looked out the window with a bored look, where a little bird was combing its feathers. When the beautiful teacher was giving a lecture, she found that the little boy was distracted again. A trace of helplessness flashed in her eyes, and she asked softly, "Endo, what is 7 times 9 plus 6? 69, the little boy answered without turning his head. It's incredible. When the children in the class saw this, they all showed admiration, as if they saw a living academic master. Such scenes happen every day, but they still make the children excited. Obviously, this little boy is always absent-minded in class, and sometimes even naps in class, but he can get full marks in every subject. How can people not envy and admire him? Correct. Hearing the little boy give the correct answer immediately, teacher Sumiko Kobayashi felt helpless and forced a smile. It's really frustrating. Can't Endo make a mistake once? I am such a teacher with no sense of accomplishment. Seeing Endo Haruto still staring out the window in a daze after answering the question, Sumiko Kobayashi felt frustrated and silently retracted her gaze. In fact, Sumiko Kobayashi admires students as flexible and smart as Endo Haruto. If other children in the class can have such intelligence, her teaching work will become easier. But sometimes, she feels that Endo Haruto is too smart, making her feel like she has become a redundant person, which really hurts her self-esteem. Although the days of elementary school students are a bit monotonous and boring, they are quite comfortable. You don't have to worry about this and that. You can enjoy your leisure time to your heart's content, unlike before. Bathed in this warm and comfortable sunshine, Endo Haruto's mind gradually drifted away, and he couldn't help but think of his past life. Endo Haruto is not an ordinary child, he is a reborn with memories of his past life. In his previous life, Endo Haruto was born in an ancient country in the east. He lost his parents when he was young and became a third-rate painter when he grew up. Unfortunately, his paintings were not appreciated by many people, and he could only barely make ends meet. He spent more than 20 years in a daze, and his works never caused a big response, and he became one of many ordinary people. Once when he went out to sketch, Endo Haruto accidentally fell off a cliff, ending his ordinary life. When he woke up again, he had become a newborn baby. I don't know if it was because he did a lot of good things in his previous life and got good rewards, so he was born into a good family in this life. In this life, Endo Haruto not only has parents, but also 2 sisters, Endo Ayako and Endo Sonoko. Not long after, through conversations between adults, Endo Haruto learned that the world he is in now is different from the original world. Because he found that his second sister Endo Sonoko has 2 good friends, one named Ran Muri and the other named Kuda Shinichi. As a former painter, Endo Haruto also knows a thing or two about various popular anime. Ran Muri and Kuda Shinichi are, without a doubt, the heroine and hero in Detective Conan. This also means that the world where Endo Haruto is reborn happens to be the animation world of Detective Conan, or a very similar parallel space. When he first learned about this, Endo Haruto was a little confused, but he soon came to his senses. After all, the starting point of this life is much better than being an orphan in his previous life. It is conceivable that the Endo group is one of the largest groups in the island country, and Endo Haruto, as the only boy in the younger generation of the family, will have to hand over the entire group to him in the future. In short, Endo Haruto not only stood at the starting line when he was born, but also directly crossed the finish line of many people. Unfortunately, perhaps because he did not experience the situation of his parents' absence, Endo Haruto did not awaken the special abilities that usually reborn people would have. But then again, since he already has a bicycle, what's the use of a watch? The bell rings. The school bell rings cheerfully, and the children put on their school bags and run out of the school gate excitedly. Dong dong dong. As soon as Endo Haruto arrived at the school gate, he was stopped by three little figures. They were his classmates, Yoshida Ayumi, Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko and Kojima Genta. Yoshida Ayumi, wearing an orange dress and short hair, said expectantly, "Haruto, tomorrow is Saturday, we plan to go to Dorabaiga Park, do you want to join us?" Ayumi has already asked you, I tell you, it's best not to be ungrateful. Seeing that Endo Haruto didn't agree immediately, Kojima Genta next to him clenched his fists. With his round figure, it's really a bit scary. No wonder. Endo Haruto is a person who traveled through time, how could he be scared by this little guy? Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Section 2 Master Tsundera's invitation to the amusement park, the driver also wants to go. However, looking at Yoshida Ayumi's face full of expectation, Endo Haruto really couldn't say no. It's not because he also wants to go to the amusement park, really not. He shrugged and said, I really can't do anything about you, so let's do it this way, see you at the entrance of Dorabaiga Park at 8 o'clock the next morning. Great, Haruto, see you tomorrow. After getting a satisfactory answer, Yoshida Ayumi and the other three jumped out of the school briskly. Amusement park? Thinking of riding a roller coaster and visiting a haunted house tomorrow, Endo Haruto's steps became lighter and walked towards the alley near the school. In the corner outside T10 Elementary School, there was a modified black business car parked. In the driver's seat sat a middle-aged man in a black suit, with a square face and a tough look. His name is Inoue Ryuichi, and he is Endo Haruto's full-time driver. Although the Endo family's way of raising children is approachable, there are many necessary protective measures. Inoue Ryuichi is not only a first-class driver, but also a retired Special Forces soldier and a bodyguard assigned by the Endo family for Endo Haruto. In the back seat of the black business car, in addition to Inoue Ryuichi, there is another eye-catching passenger. It is a girl wearing a black and white maid outfit. She has black double ponytails, a pretty face, and looks very quiet. She is probably only 17 or 18 years old. This girl is called Kurosaki Tamika. She is a personal maid specially selected by the Endo family for Endo Haruto, responsible for taking care of his daily life. Don't look at Kurosaki Tamika's young age, she is very capable. Whether it is cooking, water skiing, wilderness first aid or massage bone setting, she is proficient in everything. Originally just an orphan, she has been funded and trained by the Endo group since she was a child, and has been instilled with the concept of loyalty to the group. Just like the ancient retainers or dead soldiers, her loyalty is unquestionable. Because of this, Kurosaki Tamika can become Endo Haruto's personal maid, and ordinary maids don't have this treatment. When Endo Haruto appeared at the corner of the street, with a boom, Kurosaki Tamika hurriedly got out of the car to greet him, skillfully took the things in his hand, and then the two got in the car together. After Kurosaki Tamika and Endo Haruto were both seated, Inoue Ryuichi slowly started the car and drove steadily to Endo Manor. Endo Manor is a typical Japanese architectural style. The manor covers a large area, and the lawn outside alone is as big as several football fields. The only inconvenience is that it is very tiring to walk in the manor, and you have to rely on a means of transportation to visit the entire manor. This is not very friendly to children like Endo Haruto. Master Haruto. Master Haruto, school is over. Master Haruto, good afternoon. The servants in the manor couldn't help but smile and greet him enthusiastically as soon as they saw Endo Haruto's cute little face. This child is not only pleasing in appearance, but also very polite. He is completely different from those troublesome little troublemakers, so he is deeply loved by the servants at home. Endo Haruto was helpless about such treatment. Although his body was a real child, his heart was already over 20 years old. Even if he didn't want people to know the secret of his rebirth, he would never do something childish and annoying like those little troublemakers. Compared with other children, Endo Haruto naturally seemed more sensible, and coupled with his likable appearance, he was popular with men, women, young and old. Is there? Kurosaki Tamika took Endo Haruto's little hand and was about to step into the living room of the manor. Suddenly, his brows slightly frowned, his steps paused, and then he stretched his brows, raised the corners of his mouth, and led Endo Haruto into the living room. Not long after entering the living room, a figure quietly slipped out from behind the door. The figure made a silent gesture to Kurosaki Tamika, then gently covered Endo Haruto's eyes, and asked in a low voice, "Can you guess who I am?" "Sorry, I can't change this content." Endo Haruto was speechless for a while, and said without hesitation, "It must be the most beautiful girl in the universe, the young, lively and lovely Sister Sonoko. Baba Ba." After hearing this, Endo Sonoko was overjoyed. She hugged the other party and kissed her tender face non-stop. "Our Haruto is really the cutest." Under the slightly envious eyes of Kurosaki Tamika, Endo Sonoko hugged Endo Haruto tightly, lifted him up high, and rubbed his little face with her cheek. "Sister, come and help me." Haruto, who was out of breath by Endo Sonoko, had to look for help from Endo Ayako not far away. Seeing this, the dignified and generous Endo Ayako smiled slightly and said in the tone of an elder sister, "Little Sonoko, there are no parents at home today, you can't take the opportunity to tease Haruto." When Endo Sonoko heard her elder sister speak, she reluctantly let Haruto go, allowing him to escape this disaster temporarily. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Top up 100 yuan and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 3. The maid in black came to report, and the siblings had a warm dinner together. A middle-aged maid in a black maid outfit walked up to Endo Ayako and asked, "Since Master Haruto is back, can we start preparing dinner? My parents are not here today, so let's keep dinner simple. In addition to Haruto's favorite sweet and sour pork ribs and sweet and sour hairtail, add a few home-cooked dishes and a soup." Endo Ayako nodded gently and replied, "Yes, ma'am." With the preparation of the middle-aged maid, a simple and hearty dinner was quickly prepared. Because the two parents Endo Shiro and Endo Tomoko were not at home, the three siblings were more casual and comfortable when eating. The two sisters teased Haruto from time to time, asking him questions like whether he had a favorite girl or whether he had a girlfriend. Endo Haruto thought the topic was childish, but he didn't feel disgusted at all, but felt very warm. Compared to the lonely days in the past when he had to do everything by himself, shopping, watching movies, and eating, he prefers the current life where his parents are at home and his sister and brother are in harmony. Suddenly, a cold electronic reminder sounded, tick. The new sign-in system has been activated. I wish you a pleasant experience. The sound scared Endo Haruto, who was chewing on ribs, and he almost choked, with a strange expression on his face. When he first came to this world, Endo Haruto really hoped to have his own gold finger. But in the past 7 years, he has given up hope of finding any gold finger. Unexpectedly, after he gave up for many years, this gold finger system appeared late. It was unexpected good news. Although he had a good starting point in this life, no matter how good his background is, it can't compare to cheating. After a brief surprise, Endo Haruto quickly calmed down. While chewing on the ribs expressionlessly, he thought about this top sign-in platform. The function of this system is quite simple. In addition to a simple character attribute panel, there is only the sign-in function. To sign in, you must first find the sign-in target to get the corresponding reward. Endo Haruto was not in a hurry to study the sign-in issue, but first looked at his character attribute panel. Endo Haruto is a young and promising artist, and his works often reflect a deep insight into life. Energy, 5. Speed, 4. Physical fitness, strong. Stamina, 12. Skills, not enough. According to the system settings, the average value of the 4 basic attributes of an ordinary healthy adult man is 10 points. And now Endo Haruto is just a 7-year-old child, his ability, speed, and endurance are naturally much worse than those of adults. However, his mental strength is stronger than that of ordinary people. After closing the simple character attribute panel, Endo Haruto spit out the bones in his mouth, and then looked at Endo Ayako and Endo Sonoko. From his perspective, he could see the 3 words, "You can sign in," floating above Endo Ayako and their heads. Endo Haruto reached out and gently pulled Endo Sonoko's arm and said, "Sister, can you help me pick up a piece of beef?" The moment he touched Endo Sonoko, the system prompt sounded in his mind, dong. Congratulations on successfully recording Endo Sonoko and obtaining a copy of The Law of Wealth. The host can pick it up at any time. The three big words above Endo Sonoko's head also slowly disappeared. Here you go. Endo Sonoko did not doubt Endo Haruto's intentions and smiled as she picked up a piece of steak for him. Thank you, Sister Sonoko. Endo Haruto took the steak and pretended to be intoxicated to taste it on the surface, but in fact he couldn't wait to check the new reward. Golden Law. Active skill. Level, cannot be upgraded. People with this skill will be blessed by the God of Wealth and will not worry about money for life. Consumption, none. No need to wait. Cooling period, no need to wait. You are the darling of good fortune. After Endo Haruto checked the characteristics of Golden Law, he couldn't help but feel helpless. This skill is indeed very powerful, especially for those who are penniless. But for him who is about to take over the Endo group, this skill seems a bit redundant. After all, he doesn't need to worry about the cost at all. Although he thinks this ability is a bit useless, he still uses it as a sign-in reward. However, Golden Rule is a passive skill, and luck is too elusive, so he didn't feel any changes in his body. After dinner, he gently pulled Endo Ayako's arm as usual and asked her to help pick up the barbecue. System notification. Congratulations on your successful sign-in at Endo Ayako and obtaining the Financial Management Guide, which can be withdrawn at any time. Hearing the notification in his mind, he looked at the information of the Financial Management Guide with anticipation. Currency Manipulation Skill, Currency Control. Category, Active Skill. Level, cannot be upgraded. Function, can add economic strength to any item, making it temporarily more powerful. The degree and duration of the enhancement depends on the funds invested. Mid-Autumn Reading. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 4 The Young Master's Vault, The Three Little Pigs and the Secret of 20 Million. Consumption, funds, limited to common currency, antiques and artworks are not included. Cooling time, not yet specified. Money is omnipotent. If there are matters that cannot be handled by money, it can only mean that the funds are still insufficient. He secretly sighed in his heart, as expected of the eldest and second daughters of the Endo group, the abilities they offer are inseparable from money. After dinner, Endo Haruto took a bath under the care of Kurosaki Tamika as usual, and then returned to the children's bedroom of more than 100 square meters. He stepped into the room wearing soft slippers and opened the safe with anticipation. Although he is a child, the elders of the Endo family will give Endo Haruto red envelopes during festivals, so he also has his own small treasury. In his small treasury, in addition to a bank card with more than 20 million yen in it, there are also 3 piggy-shaped piggy banks, each of which is only the size of a palm. The white piggy bank contains 500 yen coins, which are convenient for him to use as pocket money at any time. The silver piggy bank contained 1,000 yen bills. The gold one contained 10,000 yen bills, but this piggy bank was not full yet, with only more than 200 bills. The ringing continued. After carefully examining the 3 piggy banks, Endo Haruto finally chose the white piggy bank and poured out all the hundreds of coins inside. Pa! After preparing the money, he took out 2 palm-sized building blocks from the toy box, then picked up the fruit knife next to the fruit plate and chopped hard on one of the building blocks. Because the fruit knife was not very sharp and Endo Haruto was not very strong, only a small knife mark was left on the building block. Endo Haruto did not show any frustration. He picked up a 500 yen coin with his left hand and activated the currency skill. Shichichi. With the activation of money power, the gold coins in his hand quickly decreased and transformed into a special power. Under his control, they were poured into the knife. Bang! Endo Haruto clenched the enhanced fruit knife and swung it violently. The solid wood building block toy broke into 2 pieces. At the same time, Endo Haruto clearly felt that the special energy in the fruit knife had decreased by about 1/3. He stared at the broken building block toy for a moment, and did not continue to cut it with the knife, but carefully felt the changes in the knife. He could feel that even if he no longer used the knife, the energy in the knife was slowly lost. After about 2 minutes, the special energy in the fruit knife completely disappeared, and the knife returned to its original state. It can only be temporarily enhanced. Let's try something else next. Endo Haruto put the fruit knife back to its original place and took a piece of watermelon from the fruit plate. After savoring the taste of the watermelon, he activated power banknotes again, injected 500 yen of energy into the remaining watermelon, and then tasted it slowly. The watermelon enhanced by energy has a significantly improved taste, surpassing any watermelon he has eaten before. Endo Haruto ate the watermelon in his hand in 2 or 3 bites, smacked his lips, and felt that it was not enough. It tastes really good. As I expected, financial power does not just make things harder or sharper, but strengthens their own characteristics. So after the food is strengthened, it naturally becomes more delicious. In the next few hours, Endo Haruto was like a child who got a new toy. He tried everything he could think of and had a deeper understanding of the skill of currency skills. From the test results, currency ability can not only enhance inanimate objects, but also enhance the combat effectiveness of organisms. Although Endo Haruto cannot control the speed at which financial power dissipates, he can make the remaining financial power in the item burst out at one time, generating stronger power. The wealth converted by financial power can be compared to natural gas. Daily use is like cooking with a gas stove, and releasing all wealth at one time is like detonating the entire gas tank. For example, if Endo Haruto injects 1,000 yen into his arms will have a sudden increase in strength, reaching the level of an adult, and this can last for nearly a minute. If he chooses to use up all the remaining financial resources in his arms, he can instantly exert a force that is several times greater than that of an ordinary person, but he can only do so once. Unless Endo Haruto injects his own financial resources into his arms again, the strength will return to its original state after the financial resources explode. The bigger the thing you strengthen, the more financial resources you will need. With just 1,000 yen of financial resources, Endo Haruto's arms will have the strength of an adult. If you want to make the strength and speed of your whole body reach the level of an adult, you will have to spend tens of thousands of yen of financial resources. The skill, cash power, is indeed powerful, but it is also quite expensive. If Endo Haruto's family is not wealthy, not to mention a primary school student like him, even an ordinary office worker cannot afford this skill. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 5: A day at the amusement park, holding hands, feeling restless. The next morning, after a hearty breakfast, Endo Haruto and Kurosaki Tamika got on his special car and headed for Dorobaiga Park. The amusement park on weekends is more lively than usual, with people coming and going, and it is not an exaggeration to describe it as shoulder to shoulder. In addition to parents who bring their children to play on weekends, there are also many young couples, and the air is filled with the breath of love. In order to prevent Endo Haruto from getting lost, Kurosaki Tamika took his little hand as soon as he got off the car. Black, white, red, yellow. Endo Haruto looked at the young girls in short skirts and full of energy around him, and couldn't help humming a song. He saw it clearly from this angle. Haruto, we are here. The 3 friends who were taking pictures with the dolls at the entrance of the park saw Endo Haruto and waved to greet him. Endo Haruto looked in the direction of the voice and his eyes lit up. Above Yoshida Ayumi and the others, the 3 words, available for collection, floated, like beautiful women in cool clothes waving at him. I'm here. Endo Haruto happily ran towards his 3 friends and high-fived them. Ding! Congratulations to Genta for successfully entering the system and obtaining 4 energy points, which can be collected at any time. Ding! Congratulations to Mitsuhiko for successfully completing the sign-in and obtaining 3 speed points, which can be collected at any time. Ding! Congratulations on successfully signing in with Yoshida Ayumi and obtaining a prize, colorful children's clothing, which can be collected at any time. Needless to say, physical strength and speed are things that can enhance Endo Haruto's physical strength and speed, just like the free attribute points in the game. After using the physical strength and speed values he just obtained, Endo Haruto's speed and physical strength attributes were both raised to 7 points, which is almost the same as that of an ordinary junior high school student. Compared to the easy-to-understand attribute values, Endo Haruto is more interested in the fashionable children's clothing, signed in from Yoshida Ayumi. Colorful children's clothing, colorful children's clothing. As a protective equipment, armor has always played an important role in war. It can not only effectively resist the enemy's attack, but also boost the morale of soldiers in battle. Over time, the design and material of armor have evolved to meet the needs of different battlefield environments. Today, although the practicality of armor has weakened, its value as a historical heritage has become more prominent. Quality, general. Can be transformed into children's clothing of various styles, perfectly adapting to the wearer's body shape. Effect 2, flawless with automatic cleaning function, clothes are always kept clean and tidy no matter where they are. Effect 3, automatic repair function. When the clothes are damaged, they can be restored to their original state through self-repair, but this process takes some time. Let me tell you a little secret quietly, you can also try women's clothing. Endo Haruto knows that, apart from the remarks that make people want to complain, the attributes of transformed children's clothing are indeed powerful. At first glance, this clothing seems to have no defensive function, but if you think about it carefully, it can completely serve as a protective gear. Whether it is a bulletproof vest or armor, there can be a children's clothing version. Therefore, in theory, transformed children's clothing can also be transformed into this kind of protective equipment. If there weren't so many people around, Endo Haruto really wanted to put on the transformed children's clothes immediately and try the effect himself. After Yoshida Ayumi and the others greeted Endo Haruto, they couldn't help but look at Kurosaki Tamika next to them curiously and asked, "Haruto-san, who is this sister?" Kurosaki Tamika smiled and took the initiative to introduce, "My name is Kurosaki Tamika, and I am Master Haruto's personal maid." She didn't wear her usual black maid outfit, but casual sportswear, with her long hair tied into a ponytail. She exuded a youthful and energetic aura, which was quite attractive to elementary school students. Hearing the words, personal maid, Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko and Kojima Genta were surprised. Looking at the gentle and beautiful smile of Kurosaki Tamika, they couldn't help but cast envious eyes at Endo Haruto. It's really annoying. Thinking of such a gentle big sister waking Endo Haruto up every morning and even playing with him, it's really jealous. After hearing this, Yoshida Ayumi turned her head to look at Endo Haruto, who was wearing ordinary clothes, with doubts in her big eyes. Aren't exclusive maids only for rich young masters on TV? After all, when Endo Haruto was in kindergarten, he was not in the same class as Yoshida Ayumi and the others, so everyone had known him for less than 2 months and didn't know his family situation. Endo Haruto spread his hands helplessly. "Don't look at me like that. My family is actually only a little richer than ordinary families. My parents are very busy at work and have no time to take care of me, so I asked Sister Yuhua to help." Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko suddenly realized, "I understand. So Sister Yuhua is Haruto's nanny." "It's almost like that." Endo Haruto nodded in agreement. He didn't want to show off his family in front of the children. The surprise on Yoshida Ayumi and Kojima Genta's faces gradually faded. Mid-autumn reading. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 6, Mr. Teddy Bear's Adventure in the Amusement Park. If it was a babysitter, it would be more acceptable. You can't do this. You are no longer a kindergarten kid. You have to learn to be independent. Going to the playground with an adult is not what elementary school students should do. Kojima Genta suddenly grabbed Endo Haruto's shoulders and said seriously. Kurosaki Tamika's eyes twitched slightly, and she muttered in her heart, "You little fat boy, don't lead Master Haruto astray." Adults nowadays are really relieved. A few children are visiting the amusement park alone. Are they really not afraid of being kidnapped? "Okay, Genta, Haruto is here, let's go to the amusement park," Yoshida Ayumi said excitedly, leading everyone to the carousel. Cute. Endo Haruto sat on the carousel with a smile on his face. Kurosaki Tamika couldn't help but take out her camera and took pictures of this happy moment. Her feelings for Haruto are extraordinary. It is not just a simple master-servant relationship, but she regards him as a treasure in her heart. In recent years, the Endo Group has sponsored many orphans, but most of them have no special talents and can only be arranged to be ordinary employees in various branches. Only a few children with outstanding talents will be trained as the core bodyguards or servants of the group. When Endo Haruto was born, Kurosaki Tamika was still a 10-year-old girl. Because of her outstanding performance, she was specially selected as Haruto's personal maid. As the only male heir in the family, Endo Group will be taken over by Haruto in the future. As his personal maid, her status and treatment will naturally increase. Out of jealousy and other reasons, other little maids of the same age often find faults and make things difficult for Kurosaki Tamika. Little Tamika has also suffered many grievances, and even cried in front of Haruto once. Kurosaki Tamika did not expect that Endo Haruto, who had just learned to walk, actually reached out to wipe her tears, and said childishly, "Sister, don't cry, give me a hug." From that moment on, Kurosaki Tamika secretly vowed to serve Master Haruto for the rest of her life and treat him as her most precious baby. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept up a black shadow, hitting Haruto Endo's face exactly. Master Haruto. Master is really blessed. Kurosaki Tamika was surprised at first, but after seeing the black shadow clearly, a faint smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. Haruto Endo subconsciously grabbed the thing on his face, and when he saw it was a familiar portrait, his expression became a little strange. What he held in his hand was a brand new 10,000 yen note, which felt real and not fake. Yoshida Ayumi, who was sitting on the carousel, looked back and saw the 10,000 yen note in Haruto Endo's hand, and was surprised. It turns out that there is real money falling from the sky. It's really money, Haruto, you are so lucky. Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko saw this scene for the first time, and her tone was full of envy. Kojima Genta clenched his fist unwillingly, stared with wide eyes and searched around, hoping to find another lost 10,000 yen note. Compared to the surprise of others, Endo Haruto quickly regained his composure. He speculated that this might be the result of the passive skill, Golden Rule. After saying that, Endo Haruto suggested, "This money seems to have fallen from the sky. Everyone should share a share. We will use it to buy delicious food later." Great! Hearing this, the three friends immediately cheered and raised their hands to express their agreement. After the carousel stopped, the three friends could not wait to surround Endo Haruto and ran to the nearby supermarket to buy snacks. Endo Haruto shook the 10,000 yen bill in his hand. "This 10,000 yen will be divided equally among the four of us, and each person can get 2,500 yen. When we go shopping later, we will follow this number. If it exceeds 2,500 yen, the excess will be supplemented with our own pocket money. Is this okay? This division is quite fair. I have no objection." Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko nodded in agreement. "Great, then I have to buy 2 more boxes of eel rice." As soon as Kojima Genta finished speaking, Yoshida Ayumi immediately retorted, "Wrong. There is a problem with your calculation. We are not 4 people here, but 5 people. We have to count Sister Yuhua's share." Kurosaki Yuhua was slightly surprised when she heard what Yoshida Ayumi said, and a hint of imperceptible warmth flashed in her eyes. Ayumi is such a cute little angel, and she is a good match for Master Haruto. But Sister Yuhua is an adult after all. Kojima Genta seemed a little unhappy when he heard it. It has nothing to do with whether she is an adult or not. Since Sister Yuhua is playing with us, she is our friend, so of course she should be counted. Ayumi is right. I didn't think it through just now. I subconsciously counted Sister Yuhua and me as one. Endo Haruto took Kurosaki Yuhua's hand and said with a smile, "Then the 5 of us will share it together. Each person can get 2,000 yen shopping money. Let's act quickly." Mid-Autumn Reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 7, Lucky Boy picks up money to buy snacks, and the unexpected lottery surprise comes again. The 10,000 yen bill was originally picked up by Endo Haruto. When Kojima Genta and Tsuburaya Mitsuhiko heard this, they naturally did not object and hurried to pick their favorite snacks happily. After a while, ding-ling-ling. Everyone chose their favorite food, put it all in the shopping cart, and asked the beautiful supermarket staff to help check out. There are many kinds of snacks to buy, and it is impossible for each one to be 2,000 yen. Everyone slightly exceeded the amount, so the total price exceeded 10,000 yen. Hello, kids. Today we have an event. You can draw a lottery once if you spend more than 10,000 yen. After the clerk helped Endo Haruto and his friends settle the bill, he smiled and took out a black lottery box from under the counter and handed it to them. The prize is a shopping voucher worth 20,000 yen, which can be used in any store in the amusement park. 20,000 yen. Yoshida Ayumi's eyes lit up and she took the lead in suggesting, "Haruto, you are so lucky, why don't you draw?" Mitsuhiko and Genta listened and did not object, but looked at Haruto expectantly. "Then I won't be polite," Endo Haruto said, and his hand turned around in the lottery box for a few circles, and randomly drew a winning ticket. A soft sanding sound. In the curious and expectant eyes of the three friends, the lottery ticket was quickly scratched, revealing the three words, "First prize." The clerk couldn't believe it, opened her mouth slightly, then took out the coupon from the drawer and said with a smile, "Kids, you are so lucky. You won the biggest prize in the store at once. I wish you a happy weekend." "That's great. Now we can enjoy it to our heart's content. I was worried that my pocket money was not enough. Now I can not only play in the amusement park, but also buy a lot of toys with the remaining money. Haruto, you are really our lucky star." The three friends seemed particularly excited and had begun to think about how to use this huge amount of money. "Thank you, sister, let's go." Endo Haruto took the coupon calmly, took Yoshida Ayumi and the others out of the store, turned around and asked, "Where do you want to go next?" "Why don't we go to the game hall over there? I heard that there are many great claw machines and capsule machines there, as well as rare versions of Kamen Rider toys." Mitsuhiko pointed to the game store a few hundred meters away and suggested, "Limited edition Kamen Rider model? It's so exciting. I'm looking forward to it, Haruto-san, let's go take a look together." Ayumi and Genta are both die-hard fans of Kamen Rider. They immediately raised their hands to show their support and pulled Haruto Endo forward. As soon as they stepped into the game hall, a burst of noise came over them. The hall was crowded with tourists. In addition to children of the same age as Haruto Endo, there were also many adults who were having fun in the game hall. The most lively ones were the claw machines and gashapon machines. "This is really great." Looking at the claw machines filled with soft toys, Yoshida Ayumi couldn't help cheering. Not to mention Yoshida Ayumi, even Kurosaki Tamika showed a happy smile. After all, she was only a 17-year-old girl. Looking at the wide variety of claw machines and gashapon machines, Haruto Endo also felt a little itchy. In the past, Endo Haruto always loved to play those gashapon machines and claw machines that tested luck. Although he was always unlucky at that time, his interest did not diminish at all. At this moment, he finally became the legendary lucky man, and of course he had to get rid of the bad luck label in the past. Accompanied by three friends, Endo Haruto first went to the front desk of the game hall and exchanged the 20,000 yen consumption voucher for game coins. Then, the five of them divided the game coins equally and each chose their favorite game machine to play. "Sister Yuhua, let's try this cake machine first." Compared with the claw machine that requires skills, Endo Haruto now prefers the gashapon machine that relies on luck. As a loyal supporter of Endo Haruto, Kurosaki Yuhua naturally nodded in agreement. "Okay, let's start with this." Tat-tat. Endo Haruto skillfully took out a game coin worth 100 yen, stuffed it into the gashapon machine, and turned it excitedly. A golden ball rolled out immediately. When he opened the plastic ball, there was a note inside with "Reward" written on it. "Please call me your majesty. Sister Yuhua, can you keep this note for me? After I draw all the grand prizes, we will go to redeem them together." After handing the note to Kurosaki Yuhua, Endo Haruto continued to play the Gashapon. In the next 10 minutes, Endo Haruto turned on the invincible mode, not only clearing the grand prize in the first Gashapon machine, but also draining several machines in succession. The ultimate grand prize, first prize, and second prize of the Gashapon machines he had drawn were all drawn, leaving only some consolation prizes of low value. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 8, The Emperor of Luck Possessed. The Gashapon Adventure of Super Lucky Star Endo Haruto. The three children saw Kurosaki Tamika pushing a cart full of prizes back, and they couldn't help but surround Endo Haruto, showing a pitiful look. "Haruto, can you help us open a few capsules?" In comparison, Endo Haruto was extremely lucky, while the three children seemed to be unlucky. They spent most of their game coins and only won some small dolls and badges. Faced with this pitiful look, Endo Haruto couldn't refuse, so he helped them open a few capsules. With the help of the power of Golden Rule, his luck was very good, and he won more than 10 prizes in a row, and the three children had everything they wanted. In this way, Endo Haruto became the lucky star in the hearts of the three children and became their inseparable good partner. Kurosaki Tamika accompanied Endo Haruto and his friends in the amusement park for most of the day. Seeing that the sky was getting dark, she said gently, "Children, it's getting dark, we should go home." Carrying a backpack full of gifts, the three children nodded obediently. They had enough fun today, and they would not make trouble unreasonably. "Sister Xiaoyu, classmate Haruto, we have to go first." After saying that, the three little ones said goodbye contentedly. Watching the bus the three little ones were riding leave, Kurosaki Tamika, who was pushing the cart, said softly, "Young master, it's time for us to go home." Wait a minute. Endo Haruto just started to speak, and suddenly stopped, his eyes attracted by two figures not far away. This is a young couple, who looks only about 17 or 18 years old, with a little immaturity on their faces. The boy is handsome, and the girl is pretty and beautiful. The two of them are talking and laughing, just like a young couple in love. Endo Haruto is very familiar with them. They are his classmates, Kuta Shinichi and Ran Muri. Kurosaki Tamika followed Endo Haruto's gaze and also found Kuta Shinichi and Ran Muri. A flash of realization flashed in his eyes, it turned out to be Ran and Shinichi. Before Kurosaki Tamika could say hello, Endo Haruto rushed towards them like an arrow from a string. "Sister Ran, brother Shinichi." Just when Endo Haruto met Kuta Shinichi and Ran Muri, the system prompt sounded. Skill type, combat skill. Active ability. Rating, excellent. Master karate combat skills, can split stones with hands and crush rocks with feet. Strength +5, agility +5. Physical energy consumption is an inevitable part of the sports process, which has a direct impact on the performance of athletes. Therefore, reasonable physical management is particularly important in training and competition. Athletes need to improve their endurance and recovery ability through scientific training methods to ensure that they are in the best condition in the competition. Cooling time, not recorded. I am not angry with you, I just want to express that everyone present is terrible. Storage bracelet, storage bracelet. Type, accessory. Unique quality. With a storage capacity of 10 cubic meters, it can only be used to store non-biological items and cannot be used to store any biological items. Minutes, necessary for the protagonist. It's Haruto. Ran Muri bent down and gently touched Endo Haruto's little head, with a doting smile on her face. Because Endo Sonoko and Ran Muri are close friends, she is also very familiar with Endo Haruto, almost as close as siblings. Endo Haruto thought about it, loosened his hands that were tightly holding Ran Muri's thighs, and said coquettishly in a soft voice, "Dear Ran, give me a hug." Epsilon. So cute. Faced with Endo Haruto's coquettish method, Ran Muri couldn't resist it at all, bent down to pick him up, and rubbed his pink face hard. Endo Haruto hugged Ran Muri's neck, turned his head and said to Kurosaki Tamika, "Miss Tamika, I haven't seen Sister Ran for several days. I want to stay with Sister Ran tonight. You can pick me up tomorrow." Master, this is not appropriate. Kurosaki Tamika glanced at Ranmuri and Kudo Shinichi, shook his head and said, Xiao Ran and Shinichi are enjoying their time. It's not polite to interrupt them like this. Maybe, a date? Ranmuri subconsciously took a step back, her cheeks flushed, and waved her hand to explain, Taka, you misunderstood, Shinichi and I just met here by chance, not on a date. Although Ranmuri and Kudo Shinichi grew up together, perhaps because they were too familiar with each other, both of them were embarrassed to confess first, and they have not officially become a couple yet. This time, the two came to the amusement park just to celebrate Ranmuri's winning the karate championship. Hearing Kurosaki Tamika's voice, Ranmuri couldn't help but feel weak and nervous. After all, she and Kudo Shinichi were dating secretly without telling Endo Sonoko. If Endo Sonoko knew about it, with her personality, the whole school would know about them within 2 days. Mid-Autumn Festival Reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 9 Gentle Lan Jie meets a cute baby, and Shinichi becomes jealous. Endo Haruto quickly said, Sister Lan, since you and Shinichi brother don't have any plans, can I go home with you tonight? I really want to see you. Feeling the little guy's dependence, Ranmuri nodded and agreed, of course no problem. Then he said to Kurosaki Mika, I will take good care of Haruto, you can pick him up tomorrow. Xiao Ran, that young master is in your hands, I'm leaving first. Kurosaki Tamika said, looked at Haruto reluctantly, and left with a cart full of gifts. Kudo Shinichi saw Endo Haruto burying his head tightly in Ranmuri's arms, and a trace of barely perceptible envy flashed in his eyes. Then he said unhappily, this kid is too clingy, isn't he? Ranmuri didn't notice Kudo Shinichi's tone at all, and asked the little guy in his arms softly like a gentle mother, Haruto, where do you want to go to play? As long as I'm with Xiao Ran, I can go anywhere. So smart, how about we go on the roller coaster? Indeed. Endo Haruto nodded obediently, then turned his head and made a face at Kudo Shinichi, with a proud face. Kudo Shinichi looked at the scene in front of him, and his heart was a little angry. This time he clenched his fists and cursed in his heart, this kid is definitely intentional. His detective intuition told him that Endo Haruto was not as innocent and cute as he looked. Maybe he could fool others, but not Kudo Shinichi. Every time this kid approaches Xiao Ran, he acts like a spoiled child, rubbing against her without any scruples, and even wants to take a bath with Ranmuri. It's really infuriating. Although there is no solid evidence, considering Endo Sonoko's character of being obsessed with handsome guys, it is not surprising that her brother is also a frivolous person. A puff 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 sound came from my ears, which was the sound of Endo Haruto being kissed by Ranmuri. A strange thought suddenly emerged in Kudo Shinichi's mind, it would be great if I could become smaller too. Just as his thoughts were wandering, Ranmuri had already walked to the entrance of the roller coaster with Endo Haruto in his arms. A cool breeze blew, and the skirts of several ladies were blown up, causing screams, and also made Kudo Shinichi and Endo Haruto's eyes turn involuntarily. Xiao Ran, do you know what Sherlock Holmes' most outstanding talent is? When he first met his assistant Watson, he could tell from a handshake that the other party was a military doctor serving in Afghanistan. Kudo Shinichi noticed some subtle differences, and his passion for reasoning was instantly aroused, so he approached Ranmuri and began to show his reasoning ability. Ranmuri saw the excitement on Kudo Shinichi's face and felt a little helpless. But she still cooperated and asked, is it really that magical? Of course, it's like this. Kudo Shinichi said, and suddenly grabbed the right hand of the lady in blue in front of him, and said confidently, this lady used to practice gymnastics. Huh? The lady in blue was surprised at first, and then asked curiously, how did you know? Looking at the surprised expression of the lady in blue, Kudo Shinichi was secretly proud in his heart, and slowly explained, because there are many blisters on your hands, which are the result of practicing the horizontal bar all day. But Ranmuri frowned and argued, playing tennis will also cause blisters. Kudo Shinichi let go of the lady in blue's hand, leaned close to Ranmuri and whispered, in fact, when the lady's skirt was blown up by the wind just now, I accidentally glimpsed that there were special calluses on her thighs, which only grew from practicing the uneven bars. Endo Haruka twitched the corner of his mouth and glared at Kudo Shinichi unhappily. I really don't know how to evaluate this guy. He dared to tell Ranmuri such a thing. What a courage. Endo Haruto pretended to be innocent and said, Brother Shinichi, Sister Sonoko said that boys can't peek under girls' skirts. You little brat have no right to teach me, and I just saw it accidentally, not deliberately peeping. Kudo Shinichi whispered to defend, and then rubbed Endo Haruto's head hard. Someone shouted, Conan, don't bully Haruto. Kudo Shinichi defended, I didn't bully this kid, he is too cute, right, Haruto? After saying that, he pinched Endo Haruto's face hard again. This is a typical bully relying on size. The teased Endo Haruto secretly swore in his heart, Stinky Shinichi, wait and see, wait until you become small, and see how I will deal with you. Endo Haruto wanted to follow Ranmuri. On the one hand, he guessed that Muri Kagoro might be the target, and on the other hand, he was also considering whether to change the original story direction. After seeing the beautiful girl who had practiced gymnastics and was wearing blue clothes, Endo Haruto was sure that the current plot was exactly the content of the first episode of the original animation. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 10, Surprise at the Amusement Park. Mysterious boy secretly observes. In the first episode, Kudo Shinichi not only assisted the police in solving the murder case on the roller coaster, but was also knocked unconscious by the black organization in this amusement park, forced to swallow poison and turned into a child. Haruto Endo was originally considering whether to help at the critical moment, but now that Kudo Shinichi has tossed him around, he thinks it is more interesting to turn him into a child. After all, Haruto Endo has no ill intentions, he just wants to make more friends. He said to Ranmuri, Sister Ranmuri, let me walk for a while, I want to move around by myself. Okay, but you are not allowed to run around. Ranmuri listened to Haruto Endo, gently put him on the ground, and gently touched his head. Haruto Endo nodded obediently, walked towards the beautiful woman in blue, and gently pulled her right hand. Then, the system prompt sounded in his ears, Dong. Congratulations on signing in successfully, Toyama Hitomi, and you will be rewarded with 2 points of energy. You can claim it at any time. Toyama Hitomi looked down at Endo Haruto, a faint smile appeared on her face, and she bent down and asked, Little friend, what's the matter? Big sister, are you particularly disgusted with that man over there? Endo Haruto pointed at the man who was talking intimately with a long-haired beauty not far away. Following the direction of Endo Haruto's finger, Toyama Hitomi's face changed slightly, and she smiled reluctantly, Little friend, I have a very good relationship with Mr. Kishida, how could I hate him? Really? I thought that big sister used to be a couple with him, but was betrayed by him later, so when you looked at him, your eyes were fierce, as if you wanted to kill him. The look that wants to teach someone a lesson cannot be concealed. Endo Haruto just noticed that Toyama Hitomi's eyes flashed with a fierce light. You, who are you? After hearing this, Toyama Hitomi's smile disappeared, and she looked at Endo Haruto with a little more trepidation. As Endo Haruto said, she did have a relationship with Kishida, and this emotion has changed from love to hate, and she plans to end his life tonight. Sister, you don't have to look at me like that. I know the relationship between you and that friend, and it's all because of my sister. Endo Haruto sighed helplessly and said half-jokingly, maybe it's because my sister is unlucky, the few boyfriends she dated were all scumbags who played multiple boats. So I looked at your eyes just now and guessed that you and that big brother should have been lovers before. After hearing this explanation, Toyama Hitomi's panic on her face was relieved a lot. She couldn't help but ask curiously, Little brother, how does your sister deal with those unreliable men? When she first met a scumbag, my sister almost wanted to kill him. But if she really did it, she would have to go to jail. At that time, my parents must be heartbroken, so she gave up the idea. Toyama Hitomi's face changed slightly, thinking of her parents. If she really went to jail for murder, her parents would definitely be very sad, and they would have to endure other people's cold words. Endo Haruto's words were like a basin of cold water, extinguishing most of the anger in Toyama Hitomi's heart. Then he said seriously, later, my sister still felt aggrieved. So she paid a senior gigolo to seduce the scumbag's new girlfriend and let the scumbag also taste the taste of being cuckolded. Toyama Hitomi's eyes lit up, as if she had realized something. I have to admit that this trick is really smart. It can not only retaliate against the scumbag, but also don't have to worry about being put in jail. Hitomi Toyama wanted to kill her ex-boyfriend purely out of anger, without considering the consequences. After Endo Haruto's advice, she has now completely given up the idea. It is indeed more satisfying to let her ex-boyfriend taste the taste of betrayal than to break up with him. Brother, thank you. After having an idea in mind, Hitomi Toyama felt much more relaxed and kissed Haruto gently on the face. Haruto Endo successfully persuaded Hitomi Toyama and smiled. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. He is really a good person. The reason why he dissuaded her was mainly because the ex-boyfriend was not guilty of death. After all, the man was not two-timing. If she had to be stabbed for breaking up, there would be too many people in the world who deserve to die. Even if Hitomi Toyama really killed her ex-boyfriend, with the famous detective Kuta Shinichi, she would not be able to escape the law, and her second half of life would be ruined. It is not worth it at all. After comforting Hitomi Toyama, Haruto Endo walked to her ex and touched him lightly, seemingly inadvertently. Click. Congratulations on completing the sign-in for Kawamoto Kishida. You will be rewarded with 1 year of life, which can be withdrawn immediately. Of course. Kawamoto Kishida, like Toyama Hitomi, is an object that can be signed. It is precisely because both of them have the words signable on their heads that Endo Haruto can quickly notice Kawamoto Kishida. Life length? Hearing this word, Endo Haruto was stunned for a moment, and then curiously checked the information of the new sign-in prop. Prop name, duration, 1 year. Item, type. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 11. The 7-year-old newbie obtains a treasure, and the 2 evil spirits in black sign an unexpected quality, precious. It can prolong the life of the user, and is especially precious to those who are about to face the end of their lives. Time is like gold, and no amount of money can buy it. From the introduction of this life term, this thing is indeed extremely rare, and it can prolong human life. It is a treasure in any era. But for the 7-year-old Endo Haruto, this thing is not particularly urgent, so he is not in a hurry to use it, and put it away first. Hey, kid, don't block the way, get out of the way. A rude voice sounded, and before Endo Haruto could react, he was knocked aside by someone and almost fell on his back. Bang! Congratulations on successfully signing in Jin, and you will be given a follower contract, which can be collected at any time. Bang! Congratulations on successfully completing the vodka sign-in and obtaining a copy of Control, which can be collected at any time. Endo Haruto was about to scold the 2 guys in black clothes, and the voice of the system rang in his ears. It's really hard to find it after searching for thousands of mountains, but it's effortless to get it. Endo Haruto sighed in his heart, and then he didn't care about Jin and the others anymore, and turned to curiously look at the information of the new props. Prop name, Servant Binding Scroll, number of uses, 3/3. Type, product. Quality, valuable. You can establish a master-servant agreement with intelligent creatures. Those who sign the agreement will unconditionally obey the master's instructions and will never rebel. From the introduction of the attributes of the new prize, it is indeed quite suitable for the identities of Jin and Vodka. There are so many undercovers in the black organization. If Jin has something like a contract servant, he doesn't have to worry about being surrounded by undercovers all day long. As for Vodka, he is Jin's full-time driver, and the skill of riding is simply tailor-made for him. Haruto, it's our turn. Just as Endo Haruto was thinking about the new props and skills, Ranmuri pulled him up from behind and walked towards the roller coaster not far away. With screams of excitement, the roller coaster landed safely. Thank you, little brother. After letting go of the idea of hurting others, Toyama Hitomi smiled at Endo Haruto and then left the amusement park leisurely. There's something wrong with these two. Watching the two men in black leave, Kudo Shinichi looked solemn and fell into deep thought. Generally speaking, people who come to ride roller coasters are young people or couples. A pure manly partner like gin and vodka always feels out of place in this atmosphere. So Kudo Shinichi suspected that there was something wrong with them, and out of curiosity, he followed them involuntarily. Ran Muri saw this scene and couldn't help shouting, "Conan, where are you going?" "Xiao Ran, I suddenly remembered that there are some urgent matters that I need to deal with immediately. You take the little guy back first," Kudo Shinichi said casually, and then disappeared into the dim corridor. Shinichi. Kudo Shinichi's figure disappeared in the night, and Ran Muri felt an indescribable anxiety in her heart, and her instinct drove her to chase after him. At this time, Endo Haruto, who was leaning on Ran Muri, moved his lips, yawned, and leaned his little head on her shoulder. "Sister Ran, I'm a little sleepy." Hearing Endo Haruto's voice, Ran Muri immediately stopped, retracted her worried eyes, and said gently, "Haruto is tired, let's go home first." Just as Ran Muri turned around and left with Endo Haruto in her arms, the child lying on her shoulder slowly opened his hazy eyes, and a shrewdness flashed in his eyes. In fact, Endo Haruto deliberately spoke out to stop Ran Muri from following. Although Ran Muri's combat effectiveness is amazing, even if facing gin and vodka, he may not be at a disadvantage, but they have guns in their hands. Coupled with Jin's cautious character, he will definitely arrange snipers around when trading with outsiders. If Ran Muri just followed him, and the consequences may not be as simple as Kudo Shinichi turning into a child, but may be the end in advance. Back to Muri Detective Agency. Kacha. As soon as Ran Muri opened the door, Endo Haruto smelled a strong smell of alcohol, and the scene in front of him was a mess, with beer bottles and snack bags all over the floor. Ran Muri looked at the messy house and couldn't help complaining to her father, "Dad, why did you make the house so dirty again? No wonder no one comes to our detective agency to find you for work." As she said, she put Endo Haruto down and began to quickly clean up the garbage on the floor. "Hello Uncle Kagoro," Endo Haruto greeted sweetly. Muri Kagoro's face was flushed, and he responded with a smell of alcohol, "Hey? Why are you here?" As he spoke, he rubbed Endo Haruto's head casually. The system prompt sounded, "Ding. Congratulations on your successful sign-in Muri Kagoro, and the reward, exclusive armor, can be collected at any time. Superpower resistance, special skill. Active skill. Level, unable to be promoted. Double resistance to all abnormal states, such as paralysis, coma, bleeding, etc. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 12, Thriller in the Amusement Park, the famous detective sneaks around in the dark. Exhaustion, none. No waiting required. Cooling time, no waiting required. I get a headache as soon as the anesthetic needle appears. Endo Haruto tried to suppress his smile, raised his head and said, "Uncle Kagoro, I went to the amusement park today and happened to meet Xiao Ran, so we came back together." "Oh, you really stick to Xiao Ran?" Muri Kagoro nodded in sudden realization, then turned to Ran Muri and asked, "Come to think of it, didn't you go to the amusement park with that detective boy? Why didn't he come back with you?" "We were together before leaving the amusement park, but Shinichi said he had something to do, so he asked me to bring Haruto back first." Ran Muri quickly tidied up the office, with a worried expression on his face. "I wonder if he will get into any trouble?" Endo Haruto gently pulled the hem of Ran Muri's skirt and said with a smile, "Ran Muri, don't worry. Brother Shinichi is a high school detective, and he won't be embarrassed even if he encounters a difficult problem." After hearing this, Ran Muri's anxiety was relieved a lot, and she temporarily gave up the idea of looking for Kudo Shinichi. After all, she still had to take care of Endo Haruto, and she didn't dare to hand him over to Muri Kagoro. "Forget it, let's talk about it tomorrow." Suddenly, a thunder-like sound rang out, and Endo Haruto's face turned slightly red, and he smiled a little embarrassedly. Ran Muri heard the sound of Endo Haruto's stomach, smiled, bent down and asked, Haruto, what do you want to eat for dinner? Sister Xiao Ran will make it for you. As long as Sister Xiao Ran makes it, Haruto likes it. Haruto is so good, then Sister Xiao Ran will do whatever she wants. Ran Muri couldn't help but kiss Endo Haruto's little face, and went to prepare dinner with brisk steps. This little guy is really good at pleasing people. Muri Kagoro curled the corner of his mouth and said with a smile, Ranzi, remember to prepare a few more side dishes. I know. Ran Muri responded and skillfully cooked dinner. Although her cooking skills are not as good as the chef of the Endo family, she is also pretty good. The few home-cooked dishes she made by herself made Endo Haruto eat with relish. Haruto, you've been playing in the amusement park all day today, you must be soaked, right? After dinner, Ran Muri suggested with a smile while cleaning up the dishes, would you like to take a bath with Xiao Ran later? There are spare clothes for you at home. After hearing this, Endo Haruto's cheeks became slightly hot, and he nodded shyly, okay. Okay, I understand. After Muri Kagoro hung up the phone, he clenched his fists and waved them vigorously, shouting excitedly, that's great, there's finally a big case. Ran Muri said with some doubt, it won't be another case of catching an adulterer? How can it be? This time it's a real big case, a rich girl was kidnapped. Okay, no more words, I have to go to work. Kidnapping? Uncle Kagoro, I want to go too. Endo Haruto thought for a while, some ideas flashed through his mind, and then followed closely behind Muri Kagoro. Haruto, wait. Seeing this scene, Ran Muri could only helplessly lock the door and quickly followed. Because Muri Kagoro hadn't bought a car yet, he had to stop a taxi on the side of the road, which gave Endo Haruto a chance to follow. Before Muri Kagoro could react, Endo Haruto and Ran Muri had already gotten into the car. Muri Kagoro looked puzzled, what are you two doing? I'm going to work, why are you following me? Dad, don't look at me like that, Haruto came here suddenly, I just followed him because I was worried about him. Lanhua clarified. Aren't you usually very sensible? Muri Kagoro turned to Endo Haruto and said, why are you so worrying today? Endo Haruto said calmly, this is the first time I've seen Uncle Kagoro take such a big case, a hostage case, so I want to see if Uncle Kagoro can catch the bad guy. If Uncle Kagoro can really do it, we will definitely give priority to your help if we have any troubles in the Endo group in the future, and the reward will naturally not be small. Muri Kagoro's eyes lit up, and he patted Endo Haruto's head with a smile, then you just wait and see how I, a great detective, bring the kidnapper to justice. He. After more than 10 minutes, the taxi stopped in front of the gate of a Japanese-style courtyard. A maid had been waiting there, and she immediately greeted them when she saw them. Mr. Muri, you are finally here, please help me bring my daughter home. A middle-aged man in a brown suit saw Muri Kagoro and hurried to meet him as if he saw hope. You must be Chairman Tanigawa Fuji, right? Don't worry, tell me about your daughter's kidnapping first, I need to understand it clearly first. The kidnapped person is my only daughter, named Tanigawa Akiko, now 10 years old. Tanigawa Fuji calmed down a little and handed Muri Kagoro a photo. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 13 Twin-tailed Loli disappears, and a mysterious man in black appears. The photo shows a little girl with twin ponytails and a pink skirt, holding a half-human-high brown Dogo Argentino in her arms. He pointed to the gray-haired butler next to him, Mr. Muri, this is our butler, Mr. Mingchuan, who saw the suspect who kidnapped my daughter with his own eyes. Muri Kagoro turned to the butler also and said, oh? Then tell me in detail what happened. Butler also seemed a little nervous, okay. The thing is, when the young lady was playing in the yard after school, a man in black suddenly jumped out from a corner of the yard and grabbed the young lady. The man also threatened that unless the master agreed to suspend the company for a month, he would not let her go, and strictly prohibited us from calling the police, otherwise he would kill her. After saying this, he took the young lady hostage and jumped over the wall and ran away. After listening to the description of the butler also, Muri Kagoro fell into thought. Endo Haruto on the side showed a strange expression. More than 7 years have passed since Endo Haruto came to this world. As for his impression of Detective Conan, he could only barely recall some core characters and plots. Based on the narration of Butler Aso, he had remembered the main process of the kidnapping case. If I remember correctly, the kidnapping case was actually planned by the little girl with the help of Butler Aso. The reason why Akiko Tani planned all this was simple. She thought that as long as her father's company was closed, her father would have time to play with her. Because of this, Butler Aso suggested that Tani Kawato find a private detective to handle the matter instead of notifying the police immediately. But Butler Aso didn't expect that when Tani Akiko was waiting in a nearby restaurant, a kidnapper actually targeted her, turning the original fake kidnapping into a real kidnapping. Although Haruto Endo remembered the general outline of the story, he couldn't remember the specific place where the kidnapper hid Tani Akiko. He only vaguely remembered that it seemed to be in a warehouse of a school. The animation, Detective Conan, has been broadcast for more than 1,000 episodes, and it has been more than 20 years since its first appearance. For Haruto Endo, it was quite rare to still vaguely remember the early stories. After all, those were what he watched in his childhood in his previous life. Muri Kagoro thought for a moment, then turned to the 2 maids beside him and asked, in addition to Mr. Aso's shouting, "Did you hear the voice of the prisoner or any unusual sounds?" The 2 maids thought for a moment and replied, "No, except for hearing Mr. Aso shouting loudly that the lady was held hostage, I didn't notice any other sounds." "Oh, my sister Xiao-ran, don't you think this is weird?" Haruto Endo asked with a hint of mischief in his eyes, but pretended to be innocent. Ran Muri bent down and asked, "Haruto, what did you find?" "Sister Xiao-ran, look at the corner of the garden over there. There is a person obviously leading a big dog, but when the suspect entered the yard, it did not make any noise. Our watchdog always barks loudly when he sees a stranger." "That's right." Muri Kagoro suddenly had an idea and pointed at the uneasy housekeeper Aso. "The maids have made it very clear. Except for your screams, there are no other sounds in the yard, and no dogs bark, so the person who kidnapped the lady is you, the traitor." Tani Kawano grabbed the collar of housekeeper Fujino fiercely, furious. "Fujiano, you be asterisk 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 d, why did you do this? How have I treated you badly over the years? Who instructed you to do this behind your back?" "Elder. Master, I am really sorry, this matter is actually..." "Something is wrong," the kidnapper called again. Before housekeeper Aso could explain clearly, a maid ran to report in a panic. "What?" When Aso heard this, his face suddenly changed. Tanagoateng was furious. "You be asterisk 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 d, you actually have an accomplice." "That's not the case, sir. I was only responsible for taking care of the young lady. I arranged a fake kidnapping scene. I settled her in a nearby restaurant. I didn't have any other assistants." Aso realized the seriousness of the situation and hurriedly explained the whole story. "What are you talking about? That guy. Dad, come and help me, I'm so scared, woo woo woo." Hearing his daughter's cry for help on the phone, Tanagoa Fuji could no longer remain calm, and hurriedly said in a pleading tone, "Please don't hurt Akiko, I will agree to whatever you want." "Very good. If you want to save your daughter's life, prepare 300 million ransom as soon as possible. I don't have much patience, I will only give you half an hour, and I don't know what I will do after the time is up." Hey. Looking at the hung-up phone, Tanagoa Fuji was anxious and instinctively turned to Muri Kagoro, as if he had found hope of life. "Mr. Muri, please help my daughter." Mid-autumn reading. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 14, The Dog Barks and the Famous Detective Sets Out to Find Someone. Muri Kagoro said calmly, "Don't worry, just to be safe, you should prepare 300 million cash as the kidnappers said. During this time, I will find a way to rescue your daughter." "Understood, Mr. Muri." At this time, a dog barked suddenly, attracting everyone's attention. Endo Haruto was holding a pink ball and shaking it in front of a half-human-high Dogo Argentino. Ran Muri saw it and immediately ran over, picked up Endo Haruto and kept away from the dog that looked quite fierce. "Haruto, you can't do this, it's very dangerous." Endo Haruto said helplessly, "Sister Xiaoran, I'm not joking. I'm thinking about whether I can find the kidnapped little girl through this watchdog." Muri Kagoro heard it and suddenly realized, yes, this dog should recognize Tani Akiko, maybe he can really find her. After that, he quickly untied the dog leash and ran after the dog. "Father!" Ran Muri was stunned for a moment, and immediately chased after him. Even if she was holding Endo Haruto, her speed was not slow. Endo Haruto, who was held by Ran Muri, felt a little dizzy and his face was a little painful. Because this kidnapping was planned by the criminals, they should not have run too far with the child. The dog took them for about 10 minutes, circled several blocks, and finally rushed into Nabashi Middle School. The kidnapper hiding in the school warehouse heard the dog barking outside, and his face immediately became ugly. The reason why he brought Tani Akiko to this school warehouse was because the students were all out of school and would not attract attention. If the dog kept barking, it might attract the attention of nearby residents, and it would be a big trouble. A cold light flashed in the kidnapper's eyes, picked up a baseball bat, and walked towards the warehouse door aggressively. "Damn guy, get out!" Bang bang bang. As soon as the kidnapper opened the warehouse door, a rain of punches hit his chest and abdomen, hitting him into the air. Boom! Ran Muri suddenly raised his right foot and kicked the kidnapper's head with a graceful spinning kick, kicking him several meters away and falling heavily to the ground, losing consciousness immediately. Looking at the kidnapper with a mouth full of flying teeth and a swollen head, Endo Haruto couldn't help swallowing his saliva. No wonder Kudo Shinichi didn't dare to reveal his true identity to Ran Muri after he became smaller, or he might really be beaten to death. "Don't be afraid, little girl, we've arrived." Endo Haruto, who came to his senses, ran to the tied little girl, tore off the tape on her mouth, and helped her untie the rope. Ding! Congratulations on your successful signing in with Tani Akiko and obtaining a pet summoning item, which the host can claim at any time. Pet Summoning Doll, Special Item, Category, Accessory Rare, Rare Effect 1, Random Summon. You can randomly summon a cute puppy to assist, consuming 3 points of mental power each time. Effect 2, Summon Era. You can stably summon an adult Samoyed to provide support, consuming 5 points of mental power. Effect 3, Summons an adult hound to assist in the battle, consuming 10 points of energy. Description: multiple dogs can be summoned at the same time, and these dogs can exist for up to 1 hour. The summoner can cancel the summon at any time. Endo Haruto's mouth slightly raised, after examining the characteristics of the new equipment. With this pet summoning toy, plus the additional effect of the riding skill, Endo Haruto can transform into a powerful dog knight. Aw! Super Pet, come and help me. Tani Akiko, who was a little scared, saw the Dogo Argentino rushing over, and immediately burst into tears and laughed, hugged its neck tightly, and laughed happily. Muri Kagoro ran to the unconscious kidnapper, kicked him a few times, and laughed triumphantly. The criminal of damn it was finally caught. "With me here, there is no case that cannot be solved, hee hee. No one is injured, it's great." The kind-hearted Ran Muri saw that Tani Akiko was safe and sound, and a sincere smile appeared on his face. After the kidnapper was taken away by the police and his face was completely changed, the kidnapping case finally came to an end. The rescued Tani Akiko also returned home safely. Tani Akiko bowed deeply to everyone and said, "I am very sorry for causing so much trouble to everyone. In fact, I planned this kidnapping case." She explained helplessly, "Because my father is busy with work every day and doesn't care about me at all, I asked the housekeeper also for help and arranged this fake kidnapping. I hope that as long as my father's company is suspended, he can take me out to play." Akiko. Hearing this, Tani Kawanto couldn't help but feel guilty. Since his wife passed away, he has been almost entirely focused on the company and has indeed ignored his daughter's feelings. He didn't realize this problem before, but after his daughter was kidnapped, he suddenly realized that if something really happened to his daughter, what would be the point of making more money? Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15 to September 17. Chapter 15, The Housekeeper's Frightening Fake Kidnapping Leads to a Father-Daughter Trip to Australia. Tanagoa Teng's face became serious. Even if this is what my daughter asked you, your behavior is still unacceptable to me. Don't you think so, Aso? I'm very sorry, sir. Aso's housekeeper looked apologetic, and he was mentally prepared to be fired or even arrested. Although he helped Tani Akiko complete this fake kidnapping out of helplessness, he almost caused the lady to suffer misfortune. As a housekeeper, he was really derelict in his duty. Tanagoa Teng continued, in order to punish you for your mistake this time, you will plan a 1-week trip starting tomorrow, and the destination is Australia, where Akiko wants to go the most. Huh? Aso's housekeeper didn't react for a while, and then hurriedly replied with a smile, yes, that's right, young master. This time I have to put down my work temporarily and accompany Akiko on the trip. That's great, Akiko is happiest to be with her father. Laughter continues. Looking at this warm scene of the reunion of father and daughter, Endo Haruto and Ran Muri smiled at the same time. Muri Kagoro was thinking about how to spend the 2 million yen commission, and his face was filled with joy. Mr. Muri, thank you very much this time. I will arrange for someone to transfer the funds to your account tomorrow. Tanagoa Fuji walked towards Muri Kagoro with his daughter Akiko in his arms, and said with gratitude to him. No, don't be so polite. Since the lady has returned safely, we should also say goodbye. Muri Kagoro replied a few polite words, tried to suppress the joy in his heart, and left with Endo Haruto and others. Back in the taxi, when preparing to return to the detective agency, Endo Haruto pretended to be tired and leaned against Ran Muri, but he was actually checking his character attribute panel. Endo Haruto. Ability, 10. Speed, 22, plus 5. Physical fitness, 8. Mental state, 12. Skills, basic principles of law, capital control, unarmed combat, mastery, horsemanship, abnormal endurance. Equipment, toys of summoned beasts, changing costumes. Items, storage bracelet, validity period, 1 year, portable contract. Compared to last night when the system was just started, Endo Haruto's strength has improved significantly. Although his strength and speed are not as good as those of an adult man, if he uses the mastery level of martial arts to fight, his strength and speed will increase instantly. After learning the great success level of karate, Endo Haruto has mastered many combat techniques of this martial art. Coupled with the temporary increase in strength that can be stimulated in battle, it is no pressure for him to deal with 2 or 3 ordinary adult men. In addition to the significant improvement in his own combat power, Endo Haruto is also quite interested in the summoning equipment, Pet Summoner. Although this equipment can only summon a pet dog for temporary help, it is a very powerful combat partner. Judging from the equipment attributes, only 10 points of mental power are needed to summon an adult pit bull, which is enough to increase Endo Haruto's combat power. You know, pit bulls are bred for fighting. They don't feel pain when fighting, and can even challenge weaker prairie wolves alone. However, Endo Haruto currently has only 12 points of mental power. If he uses 10 points of mental power to summon a pit bull, he can't summon a second pet dog. In contrast, although the fighting power of huskies is not as good as that of pit bulls, each one only needs 5 points of mental power to be summoned. This means that Endo Haruto can summon 2 huskies at the same time. When you need to disperse your strength, summoning 2 huskies is obviously more appropriate than summoning a pit bull. As for the ability to randomly summon a pet dog with only 3 points of mental power, Endo Haruto always feels that there is some risk. Because this randomness may summon small dogs like chihuahuas or corgis, he doesn't want to take the risk of using this ability unless it is necessary. When checking the attributes of equipment and props, Endo Haruto discovered a new function: the system space can store the physical prizes he got from signing in. For example, the pet summon doll looks like a small toy dog, and can be taken out and put back. However, the system space cannot hold everything. Personal items such as Endo Haruto's wallet and mobile phone can only be placed in the storage ring. Back to the Muri detective agency, Ran Muri, who was soaked, took Endo Haruto into the bathroom. More than an hour later, Endo Haruto, with a red face and steaming head, walked out of the bathroom wrapped in a bath towel and was then carried into the bedroom by Ran Muri. The sky was just getting light and the morning came. Endo Haruto felt suffocated and reached out with difficulty to push away the thing pressing on his face. Okay. Ran Muri opened his hazy eyes, yawned, stretched, and stood up. Haruto, you're awake. She rubbed her eyes, smiled and took Endo Haruto out of the quilt. Since you're awake, brush your teeth and wash your face with Xiao Ran sister. Smiley face / Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 16. The maid Yuhua comes to the house, and the aroma of steamed dumplings fills the house. The two had just finished washing up when the doorbell rang. Endo Haruto ran to open the door, and saw Kurosaki Tamika standing outside the door in a black and white maid outfit, holding a food box in her hand. Sister Yuhua, you are finally here. Master, I specially prepared breakfast for you, as well as your favorite steamed dumplings and boiled dumplings. In order to make the delicious food that Endo Haruto likes, Kurosaki Tamika learned a lot of Chinese cooking. After Kurosaki Tamika prepared the rich breakfast, Endo Haruto shouted happily, Sister Lan, Uncle Goro, come and enjoy the delicious food together. Here, arrived. Whenever Endo Haruto stayed at Muri's house for a night, Kurosaki Tamika would always come to the door with a rich breakfast the next day. Muri Kagoro and the others have become accustomed to this. Muri Kagoro took a bite of the steamed dumplings. The soft, sweet and tender pork cubes burst in his mouth, which was really delicious. Ms. Yuhua's cooking skills are getting better and better. If I can have such breakfast every day, this kid can live in my house for as long as he wants. Muri Kagoro finished eating a steamed bun and smiled and touched Endo Haruto's head. Mr. Muri, you are too kind. Kurosaki Yuhua smiled modestly and gently took care of Endo Haruto to enjoy breakfast. Yuhua, these traditional breakfasts are really tempting. Can you teach me how to make them? Ran Muri tasted the delicious steamed dumplings and buns, and thought of Kudu Shinichi in his heart. He would definitely fall in love with these delicacies. Of course, no problem. I will prepare a Chinese dish recipe for you tomorrow. You follow the steps. If you don't understand something, just ask me. That's hard work for you. It's okay. Kurosaki Yuhua accompanied Endo Haruto to finish breakfast and took him away from Muri Detective Agency. Looking at the streets passing by quickly outside the window, Endo Haruto was a little confused. Sister Lena. This road doesn't seem to lead to home, right? Sir, it's late, let's go directly to school. I have prepared all your school supplies. School? Endo Haruto blinked his big eyes, his face full of confusion. Kurosaki Tamika was stunned at first, then laughed. Sir, are you not fully awake yet? Today is not Sunday, it's Tuesday. Oh. This expression seems to reveal a sense of surprise, which may be in sharp contrast with the topic of discussion next. Endo Haruto was stunned and asked tentatively, Sister Linda, then. What day was yesterday? Yesterday was Saturday. Hearing Kurosaki Tamika's answer without hesitation, Endo Haruto suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart and turned to Inoue Ruji. Uncle Ruji, what day is tomorrow? Inoue Ryuichi answered without looking back, Master Chien, tomorrow is Sunday. Sorry, I can't process that request. Endo Haruto took out his phone and saw that today was really Tuesday. He almost dropped his jaw. Today is Tuesday, yesterday was Saturday, and tomorrow is Sunday. Is this a joke? Oh no, the timeline is getting messed up. In the anime Detective Conan, the complex and intertwined timeline is also a prominent feature. There are more than 10 Valentine's Days in a year, and there are always murders on Valentine's Day. Do you believe this? When Endo Haruto first came to this world, he was also worried about whether the timeline would be a mess. However, in the past 7 years, he didn't feel that there was anything wrong with the timeline. I thought the timeline could be put at ease, but who knew that it started to get messed up again recently? Endo Haruto is a little unsure now. Is the world becoming abnormal, or is there something wrong with him? Looking at Kurosaki Tamika and the others, they don't seem to find this chaotic timeline strange at all. Maybe the timeline of this world is originally a mess, and Endo Haruto didn't notice it before. It's abnormality. He could suddenly detect the abnormality of the timeline, probably because a certain system was activated, which allowed him to get rid of the influence of the abnormal timeline. Although Endo Haruto discovered the abnormality of the timeline, he did not intend to make it public. As long as he checked the date on his mobile phone every morning, he would not be afraid of the trouble caused by the chaotic timeline. When everyone seems abnormal, people who are too normal become outliers. If Endo Haruto does not want to be regarded as a weirdo, it is better to pretend that everything is normal. In the first grade Class B of T10 Elementary School, the children study and play happily, and the teachers patiently guide and care kindly, creating a warm and vibrant learning environment. Every child finds his own interests here, actively participates in various activities, and gradually adapts to school life. Dong! Congratulations, you have successfully signed in for Kobayashi Sumiko and obtained 2 energy points, which can be collected at any time. I didn't expect to have an unexpected surprise as soon as I arrived at school, which is really happy. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 17 An Unexpected Reward. Haruto's mental strength surges, and he is surrounded by beautiful girls. Endo Haruto pretended to touch the head teacher's thigh lightly, then walked to his seat happily and sat down. The 2 additional points of mental power brought Endo Haruto's total mental power to 14 points, which means that he can now not only summon 2 huskies, but also randomly summon another pet dog. Haruto, you're here, where are we going to play after school today? Haruto is so lucky, why don't we go treasure hunting? Maybe we can find the treasure, and then we can become rich. As soon as Yoshida Ayumi and the others saw Endo Haruto coming, they immediately surrounded him and excitedly discussed the beautiful vision of the future. Ding dong ding dong. As the bell rang, the noise in the classroom stopped abruptly, and the students all returned to their seats obediently. My friends, our class has welcomed a new student today, please give him a warm welcome. Dong dong dong. Under the leadership of teacher Kobayashi Sumiko, the students applauded and turned their eyes to the classroom door. Epsilon sadface omicron equals asterisk, asterisk ah asterisk. The little Kuta Shinichi, wearing a blue children's suit and a red bow tie, sighed inwardly, walked slowly into the classroom, and introduced himself in a childish voice, I am the new transfer student, Konan Idagawa, please give me your advice. As soon as Idagawa Konan finished speaking, Endo Haruto raised his hand enthusiastically and said, Teacher, I have an empty seat here, Konan can sit next to me. How can I, a high school student detective, go to elementary school with this kid? Looking at Endo Haruto's familiar smile, Idagawa Konan complained wildly in his heart. Oh, this is really a headache. Konan, then you go sit next to Haruto first. Teacher Kobayashi Sumiko was very pleased to see Endo so enthusiastic about the new student. But what teacher Kobayashi Sumiko didn't know was that the reason why Endo Haruto was so enthusiastic was mainly because after becoming a deskmate, he could tease Idagawa Konan more easily. Endo Haruto is not a person who holds grudges. If he has resentment, he will vent it on the spot and will never hold it in for so many years. Konan, please give me more advice in the future. Well, please give me more advice too. Konan always felt that there was something wrong in Endo Haruto's smile, but maybe he was overthinking it. It's so boring. After just a few minutes of class, Konan felt bored. The elementary school course was too simple for him. After all, he was a famous high school detective. Now he was asked to read with a group of elementary school students and do addition and subtraction within 100, which was really a bit of a waste of talent. A faint sound of wind. Just as Konan was turning the pen in his hand boredly, he heard a faint sound of a paintbrush. He turned his head and saw Endo Haruto drawing on paper. Huh? In Konan's surprised eyes, a strange creature that looked like a fox with a circle of fur on its neck quickly took shape under Endo Haruto's pen. After drawing this strange creature, Endo Haruto did not rush to color it, but wrote a few lines next to it. Zlatan, He is a football genius, known for his excellent skills and unparalleled performance. Whether in international competitions or club competitions, he can always bring endless surprises and passion to fans. Initial state, initial form. Conan pointed at the drawing paper and asked curiously, "Haruto, what are you drawing?" Endo Haruto smiled and replied, "This is Ibrahimovic, a special Pokemon. You will probably be able to see it on TV in a while." Pokemon? Conan was confused and tilted his head. Swish swish swish. The friction sound of the pencil on the paper continued to sound. Endo Haruto did not intend to say much, and concentrated on drawing the 8 different evolution forms of Ibrahimovic. Before getting special abilities, Endo Haruto always thought that he had no special advantages, so he planned to use the memory of his previous life to prove his worth. Since the age of 4, he has begun to deliberately show his painting talent. Although he was only a third-rate painter in his previous life, his painting skills should not be underestimated, but he just lacked opportunities to show them. Unlike ordinary professions, painters need to have excellent painting skills and also need people to promote and publicize them. Even if the paintings are excellent, if they are not exposed enough, it is difficult to become famous, let alone sell them at a high price. Van Gogh is a typical example. When he was alive, almost no one cared about his works. After his death, he became famous and a painting could be sold for tens of millions of dollars. Although Endo Haruto dare not be compared with Van Gogh, he is confident that he can copy some of the masterpieces of his previous life. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, activity time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 18 The Pokemon Ambition of the Young Heir. Considering the age limit, he did not dare to try too complicated paintings. After some thinking, he finally decided to copy the Pokemon series. In the background of the story of Detective Conan, animations such as Pokemon did not appear, so Endo Haruto did not have to worry too much about copyright infringement. As an animation for children, the characters in Pokemon are well loved by everyone, so it is very suitable for launching various types of peripheral products, such as Pikachu plush toys and collectible card games. Most importantly, as the heir of the Endo Group, Endo Haruto will go all out to promote Pokemon once he successfully reproduces it. The huge influence of this animation around the world cannot be underestimated. Pokemon has once again regained its former glory, which can not only greatly increase the valuation of the Endo Group, but also promote its business to the global market. Endo Haruto still has many wonderful children's animations in his memory, such as Digimon, Tom and Jerry, SpongeBob SquarePants, etc. As he grows older, he can also recall hot-blooded animations such as Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Even without the so-called system assistance, Endo Haruto has the confidence to push the Endo Group to a higher level and become a giant with international influence only by using the memory of his past life. When people concentrate on something, they often don't feel the passage of time. Conan has experienced this today. Perhaps because he was too bored, except for lunch and lunch break, Endo Haruto was creating Pokemon all day long, and Conan watched quietly on the side. Conan heard that Endo Haruto had outstanding painting talent and started learning to paint at the age of 4. However, he had never seen it in person before. It was not until today that he really saw the power of this little guy. For a whole day, Endo Haruto kept drawing dozens of different elves. This speed and creativity made Conan have to admit that this kid's painting talent is really amazing. Although Conan himself is not very good at painting, he has seen many painters working. If you sketch real objects, those painters can really paint very quickly. However, to draw something that doesn't exist at all, you have to rely on imagination. Normally, painters have to spend several days thinking about their ideas before they can draw a satisfactory work. The elves drawn by Endo Haruto are all fictional creatures. Normally, when he draws these elves, he should spend some time imagining and conceiving, and then slowly modify them before he can draw new elves. But from Conan's observation, Endo Haruto draws almost without pause, as if he had seen these elves with his own eyes, which is really incredible. Even if Conan's reasoning ability is strong, he would not think that Endo Haruto is a reborn person. He can only admit that this child's painting talent is amazing. Dong dong dong, sound rang. Oh, this is really great Haruto classmate, are these all your works? What the hell is this? Is it a new comic? When the bell rang, the three friends were curious and surrounded him, their eyes fixed on the elf illustrations drawn by Endo Haruto. Endo Haruto said with a smile, "These are little elves, also called Pokemon. There are 2 days left before the animation of Pokemon will start broadcasting, right after Kamen Rider." Really? I'm really looking forward to it. A few months ago, Endo Haruto had already completed the first comic of Pokemon, and asked his father Endo Shiro to find someone to help make it into an animation. Although Endo Shiro didn't quite understand the potential of Pokemon, he loved his youngest son very much. So he immediately contacted the animation production company and the publishing house, not only made Pokemon into an animation, but also printed millions of comics and prepared to launch it on the market. In order to build momentum for Pokemon, Endo Shiro simply bought the prime time of major TV stations and planned to broadcast Pokemon continuously. The main reason for not buying Masked Rider was to take advantage of its popularity. Since Masked Rider is now the most popular cartoon, many elementary school students are eager to watch it after school. By putting Pokemon after Masked Rider, young viewers who watch Masked Rider will be able to discover the new series first. If Pokemon goes well, it will soon be as popular as Knight Rider, or even more popular. Haruto Endo stuffed the picture book into his school bag and turned to Conan, "We're going to look for treasure later. Do you want to go with us?" Looking for treasure? Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Recharge now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 19 The Lucky Star invites the little detective to embark on a treasure hunt. Conan looked confused. Ayumi said excitedly, "Conan, you may have just arrived here and don't know much. Haruto is very lucky. He is our lucky star. We will definitely find the treasure by following him." Conan's mouth twitched, and he shook his head and said, "Forget it, I am not interested in treasure hunting." "What did you say? You are too ungrateful. Ayumi and Haruto invited you, and you dared to refuse. Genta, don't do this, you scared the little detective." Mitsuhiko saw this and quickly grabbed Genta, persuading the little detective, "You can't be so cold, otherwise you won't make new friends." "That's right Conan, hurry up and set off with us." After the three friends' soft and hard persuasion, Conan finally couldn't refuse and had to follow them on the adventure journey. After walking aimlessly outside the school with Endo Haruto for more than half an hour, Conan began to complain in his heart, "What sin have I committed to accompany these little ghosts to do such childish things? Yesterday I was a famous high school detective, but I didn't expect to accompany a group of children to play treasure hunt games today. Alas! Where are those damn men in black?" Sigh. A cool breeze blew, carrying a piece of sticky note, floating past Endo Haruto's eyes. Endo Haruto grabbed it and just got the slightly wrinkled sticky note. "Hey! There seems to be a picture on this paper." This point. Hearing Ayumi's voice, Endo Haruto turned over the sticky note and found several strange patterns on the back. The top one is an iron tower and a moon, followed by a 5-pointed star and an umbrella, and finally a fish-shaped pattern. What do these pictures mean? Mitsuhiko and Genta also gathered around curiously and studied the patterns on the paper carefully. Endo Haruto said with a strange look on his face, "If I'm not mistaken, this should be a treasure map." Treasure map? Is it really a treasure map? Great! I knew I could find the treasure by following Haruto. Conan shrugged helplessly on the side. The innocence of these children was really speechless. How could a treasure map be drawn on a sticky note, and it was picked up by these little guys? "Conan classmate, come here too." Ayumi saw Conan standing alone and quickly pulled him into the treasure hunting team. Genta snatched the sticky note and shouted excitedly, "Great, let's go find the treasure. From today on, we are the junior detective team, and I, Kojima Genta, am the leader." Junior detective team? Everyone was puzzled. How cool! Someone echoed. Conan saw the three friends full of fighting spirit and suddenly felt a headache. Endo Haruto sighed silently in his heart, so the founder of the junior detective team is Genta. I thought it was Kuda Shinichi. Let's go. Genta waved his hand, and Ayumi and Mitsuhiko followed immediately. But just after taking a few steps, the three stopped. Mitsuhiko and Ayumi came back to their senses and asked, "So, Genta, where should we go?" "This matter, hee. I'm not sure either." Genta scratched his head, a little embarrassed. Endo Haruto shook his head helplessly, pointed to the first pattern on the note paper and said, "Don't you think this pattern is familiar?" "That's the Tokyo Tower." Conan stared at the pattern and blurted out. "I understand," Genta said excitedly, "the treasure must be hidden in the Tokyo Tower, let's go." "You little guys, run slowly." Watching the four children running away quickly, Conan felt tired and still chased after them. Not long after Endo Haruto and his companions left, three sneaky people followed closely behind, and Inoue Ryuichi drove a van and slowly followed. More than 10 minutes later, Inoue Ryuichi showed a strange look and said without looking back, "Xiaohua, prepare to call the emergency number." "You. What happened?" Inoue Ryuichi's face was solemn. "The three guys in the car in front have followed the young master for 3 blocks. I suspect they are international kidnappers." "International robbers?" Kurosaki Tamika immediately took out her cell phone to call the police. Generally speaking, in Japan, kidnappers dare not touch Endo Haruto because he is too important. Endo Group is a top large enterprise in Japan, with influence in various industries. Not only the police, but also many people in the military and political circles rely on the support of Endo Group. So ordinary kidnappers dare not touch Endo Haruto, unless they do not plan to stay in Japan and are ready to run away at any time. But it is different for international kidnappers. They are bold and only want to make a big deal and then disappear. A target like Endo Haruto is just what they like. Ding sound. As soon as Endo Haruto got off the car with Conan and the others, his flip phone rang. "Hello? Mid-autumn reading. Top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Top up now, event time, September 15th to September 17th. Chapter 20 Kidnappers are lurking, eel rice smells delicious. Master, it's me. Don't be nervous, don't look around, listen to me. Mr. Longi thinks you may have attracted the attention of international kidnappers. We have communicated with the police. All you need to do next is..." After listening to Kurosaki Tamika's plan, Endo Haruto calmly responded, "I understand, Sister Tamika, see you later." "Haruto, is it Xiaohua who called you?" Ayumi heard the words, Xiaohua, and asked curiously. Endo Haruto nodded to confirm. It was Sister Tamika who called and said she was waiting for us in the restaurant in front and invited us to dinner. "Great, then I must eat eel rice." "Genta, you always have a special liking for eel rice, and you can try some other delicacies occasionally. I have no other choice, after all, my favorite is eel rice." Hearing the news that Kurosaki Tamika invited them to dinner, the three children were very happy and followed Endo Haruto to the restaurant. Children's minds are always so simple. When it comes to eating, they forget about treasure hunting. Conan shook his head helplessly. "Sir, here." Kurosaki Tamika, who was waiting in the restaurant, saw Endo Haruto and the others coming, smiled and waved, and then took the 5 children into the private room. Not long after, 2 foreign men with short blonde hair followed a middle-aged man with a mustache and entered the restaurant mysteriously. "Chiba, we must celebrate today, have a drink to celebrate the successful signing of an important contract for our company. Senior Takagi is right." Boom. Boom. Just when the 2 foreign men entered the restaurant, 2 office workers who were standing at the door chatting suddenly took action and knocked down a foreign man each. "Don't move, law enforcement officers." Before the mustache could react, other customers in the hall suddenly acted together, and 5 police pistols were pointed at his head. I have decided to let it go." Facing the 5 black muzzles of the gun, the mustache did not dare to act rashly, and quickly raised his hands to surrender, fearing that a policeman's fingers would shake and pull the trigger. Tat-tat. Hearing the noise outside, Conan immediately rushed out of the private room and happened to see Officer Takagi and his men handcuffing a man. Genta and the others also ran out and asked curiously, "Conan, what happened?" Conan thought for a moment and said, "It seems that the police are catching someone." "That's amazing. This is the first time I see the police catching someone." Mitsuhiko was full of gratitude. "I'm really lucky when I think about it. If Sister Yuhua hadn't taken us into the private room for dinner, we might have disturbed the police from catching the bad guys." "Haha Mitsuhiko, this is not just good luck." Endo Haruto laughed. "It was a joint operation between us and the police that caught the criminals. These law enforcement officers were invited by Sister Yuhua." "Haruto, what did you say? I'm a little confused. How did Sister Yuhua know that they were bad guys?" Facing Genta and the others' puzzled eyes, Kurosaki Yuhua smiled and explained, "You don't know, these three people have been following you for a long time. I suspect that they are international kidnappers who want to kidnap the young master, so I called the police and set up a trap for the police uncles. So that's it, no wonder the bad guys were caught as soon as we entered the private room." Conan and the others heard it and suddenly realized it. Suddenly, footsteps sounded, and Takagi Wataru, who had changed into casual clothes, came over with a strange look on his face. "Ms. Yuhua, it seems that something went wrong. Those three people are not kidnappers." When Kurosaki Yuhua heard this, his face changed slightly. "What? Then why did they follow the young master secretly?" Ayumi said with some worry, "Comrade police, you won't misjudge innocent people, right?" Takagi Wataru patted Ayumi's head gently and comforted her gently, "Little girl, don't worry. Although these three people are not big villains in the world, they are international robbers that our police are chasing." Everyone had a question mark on their faces. Except for Endo Haruto, who remembered some plots, everyone else was confused by Takagi Wataru's words. "Actually, a few days ago, we caught the boss of an Italian robber group near Tokyo Tower, and these three people are the other three members of the group." Takagi Wataru said, and couldn't help laughing, "They followed you secretly because the note you picked up had the clue of the gold coins hidden by their boss. They wanted to follow you to find the location of the gold coins, which is so interesting." Professional police like Takagi Wataru usually don't laugh at others unless they really can't help it. To be honest, these three robbers are so stupid. Not only did they lose the treasure map, but they actually expected a group of elementary school students to help them find gold. I don't know what they were thinking. In the end, not only did they not find the gold, but they were also mistaken for international kidnappers by Kurosaki Tamika and others, and were arrested in a daze. Reading during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Recharge 100 to get 500 VIP points. Recharge now. Event time, September 15th to September 17th. You are listening to it in Eugene Light Novels.